Hello and welcome to Data Planet. I'm Emma Davis, and today's guest is Carlos Perez, Director of Marketing at Art+Logic. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
Hi, nice to be here.
So to start, tell me about Art+Logic. What do you guys do, and what do your customers have in common?
We are a custom software development firm, which basically means that we create whatever software our clients need. We're not a company that creates our own software, so we don't have a product that we sell ourselves. And we just encourage anybody who needs like some kind of complex software to get in touch with us. We create apps, we create enterprise software, we create web-based software, cloud-based software, and a lot of stuff in between. And of course, nowadays we work in AI as well.
Awesome. And so, any kind of software development project, or is there something, you talked about different kinds of things, but is there anything that makes those projects different from an average software development project?
I think so. I think one of the distinguishing factors for Art and Logic is that we often find ourselves working on projects that other development firms have turned down or said that were too hard to make. A few years ago, we had a client just describing the work that we do, and they uttered the phrase that you guys code the impossible. And it
My
just kind of
gosh.
really struck me. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
so we use that as a tagline in a lot of our stuff. Like we code the impossible, obviously in air quotes, because if it's truly impossible, we can't do it. But the things that are perceived to be very difficult or challenging, those are a lot of the projects we get.
Awesome. And how long have you guys been doing that?
Over 35 years.
Wow. All right. So you mentioned that you are now doing some development that involves AI as well. So I do want to talk about the AI wave people are riding, or
Yeah.
possibly bubble that they're riding.
Yeah. I think it's a bubble.
So yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the value and limitations of using AI to do the kind of work that Art+Logic specializes in?
Yeah. Well, because we've been around for so long and we've had these really established ways of creating software, we're very invested in the human side of software development. And as AI started to kind of percolate more and become more predominant and more visible and eventually became a trend, we found that we would occasionally get some clients who really thought that AI could solve everything that they needed. People who experimented with vibe coding or would just kind of drop some requests into AI and some prompts to create an app, and then like, why isn't it working? And so what we find is that the human element, the human input, is still really vital to software development, even with AI. And so AI can help with some basic tools, kind of maybe shorten the life cycle, not shorten the life cycle, but shorten the development cycle, and also even maybe reduce some costs. But in the end, because of hallucinations, because of the way in which AI is only as good as the data you put into it, but also only as good as the prompts that go into it, AI hits these limitations, and that's where you really need to have like imaginative problem solving that a human can do take over.
Mm. And thinking about the work that I do, there's also a lot of instances where, okay, then the mission needs to change, like the ability to pivot. I
Hmm.
found
Oh,
AI can't
yeah.
necessarily understand.
No.
uh, oh, okay, so what I was initially directed to do, that's not going to work anymore. And you think about like a an intern with a lot of enthusiasm, but not a ton of know-how, who can follow instruction but doesn't really get the big picture of what's going on. They can go off and spend hours doing something and come back and you realize, oh shoot, I didn't know that that was going to come up along the way. Like some things you just can't forecast until they actually happen. And you need to be able to, all right, I'm still trying to get over here, but either the destination, we need a different way to get there, or maybe this presents an opportunity to change the destination. Maybe now there's somewhere even better. And so, um, that's what immediately comes to mind when you talk about the imaginative limitations of AI. Um, but yeah, I can feel this like tension in this moment,
Yeah, yeah,
of
and I
like,
think you used a key word there, pivot. I mean, software development is about pivoting. Basically, running a business, creating any kind of business, is knowing how to pivot. Sometimes the pivots are because of your industry and trends. Sometimes the pivots are because of pandemic. So that's a big example,
yeah.
but those pivots really happen.
Mhm.
And in my experience, like over the last few years, I've been mentoring some students out of the University of Utrecht in Amsterdam. I'm sorry, outside of Amsterdam. And so I mentor them in terms of marketing and, some things of software marketing, and AI has been a big factor. And what I find is that oftentimes they come in with some assumptions, with some real beliefs about how marketing should work because they've been learning it, studying it. And then it's sort of like this is their first introduction to real world marketing.
Hmm.
And within the real world, the lab goes away. You don't have a lot of perfect conditions. You have a lot of things that don't actually line up and that aren't included in those textbooks that they might be relying on, or in the lectures from professors. And so part of marketing, as well as software development, requires a high level of pivoting and being comfortable with that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, the other thing that came to mind was that because AI is often touted as this sort of predictive tool, there's this assumption that it can anticipate those pivots, but it can't.
Hmm.
It's a predictive tool, but it's still dependent on the data that you put into it. It can't predict data that doesn't exist yet necessarily. It can conjure that. It can maybe sometimes hallucinate and come up with it, but it's not the perfect kind of predictive tool that people assume it is. And yet it can be used in that way if used properly and also with guidance, human guidance.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like AI is not the enemy, but people definitely have a lot of faith in it, and I've even heard some surprising things like a business leader caring less about the outcome than they care about, but did we use AI to get there? And I think there's probably I would hope there's more strategy to it than just that simple phrase, that there is some this is a way to um, encourage my team to start practicing and using these tools and get that underway because it's learning any new set of tools. I'm a tactical learner. I need to get my hands on things in order for it to make any sort of sense to me. Um, but yeah, there is this sort of, if it's not AI driven, then it's not worthwhile,
Mhm.
or I don't know, and really a reduction, I think, of the human value. And so there's this debate of what sounds like someone trying to not sound irrelevant, or someone trying to still sound relevant without being really AI forward and, hey, I'm still here and I'm still a person and all that, which is important. But even in terms of the specific outcomes, we're finding all different AI tools that we work with. It's like, I mean, you can produce a lot with AI,
Yes.
but it oftentimes is, yeah, I'm finding that wasn't even correct what it produced, or that,
Yeah, it
there's
can
a lot of,
accelerate a lot of things, but You,
yeah,
s-
yeah,
yeah, you still need to do the work. You still need to go in and review it and analyze and see where the mistakes are.
yeah. Yeah. So are you finding mistakes, either, clients coming to you guys with, we tried to use AI and it blew up in our face. Can you help us fix it? Or your own learning curve as an
Yeah,
organization trying to use it effectively?
both. We do have people come. They find us and they basically, like I think I mentioned, they've tried to use vibe coding, and they have something, but it doesn't do what they need. So then they actually need the software to build on top of that, or sometimes to replace it. So yes, there are definitely instances where clients have wanted to accelerate things because it does have that tempting quality of like, we can do it so fast now. But the reality is that you still need to sit down and work on it. I saw something. This is slightly unrelated, but I saw something just yesterday through social media. There were, how you get all those ads, right? And because I work in AI, because I work for software development, I constantly get overwhelmed with ads for different AI services. And one of them was for an AI marketing company. And it just talks about how it can write your copy for you. It can, adjust your ads. It can adjust your spend. But within the big block of text were four glaring grammatical errors. And I thought, well, okay, you guys probably used it to create this, but nobody sat down and reviewed it. And and there it was, because I imagine it probably lost them some customers, some savvy customers who looked at it like, that grammar's not right, and some of it was subtle grammar, some of it was blatant.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finding that a lot in ad tech, especially, is that what they're doing is they're providing some solution to like, we'll do a thing. We'll do a thing for you. And so people who are thinking about marketing, for example, as like a necessary function, I don't know, I just need to be writing copy and, targeting audiences and all that. And if I can see what conversions I'm getting for that, then awesome. And if a tool can do that, great. And it's like, but that's okay. Yeah. Like I also would be using ad copy or AI to write ad copy, like just to come up with ideas and generate some stuff. But that is one piece of marketing and you're kind of missing the point of what is the outcome that you're trying to drive. And I haven't found a system yet that gets close to even expressing an interest in things like incremental value or actual like cost controls or accounting for latency and sales cycle and like it feels like I don't know what to tell you. It does what it does, and you're happy with it or you're not. It's like,
And yet we have no choice but to work with these tools because they're inevitable. Like
mhm.
Google is pushing more and more toward AI as just a complete solution for Google Ads. If you try to manage your ads manually now, they put a lot of obstacles into it. And if you're not using like broad match keywords, which are optimized for Performance Max and AI Max and all the other AI tools that Google is relying on, it doesn't necessarily penalize you, but you certainly feel the reduction in impressions. And so it makes the work harder. But you still have to learn to use these tools because eventually you may not have a choice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so we'll get away from the sort of like doom and gloom of AI, but I have one more AI question for you. So, um, at the moment, the way I see it, we're sort of swinging on the AI pendulum towards AI. It's exciting in some ways. There's a bit of an arms race to have her build or talk about AI things. Um, but as with any new shiny thing in history, there are limitations and downsides. And, we can list off like environmentally, the quality and accountability of work, um, exposing tension between capitalism and human existence. Like, there are lots of concerns with this, but we're still swinging towards AI. What do you think will start to reverse the motion of that pendulum?
I think as more people experiment with it and try to use it and find that the solutions aren't complete, they'll see the shortcomings and they'll see the necessity of human interaction and human involvement and just human imagination. I go back to that a lot because human imagination can't be replicated.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go back to talking about art and logic, away from like the state of humanity and all that. Art and logic. So, what are the biggest challenges for you in running marketing for art and logic right now?
Probably the biggest challenge is one that we've had forever, that because we don't have a product and we provide a service, and we sign NDAs with a lot of clients who don't want people to know that they needed some external help to create a solution. We have to reach people at their needs, and we can't reach clients based on stuff that we can share that we created. We can't say, "Hey, look at this that we made, and we can make this for you." It's not so transparent, and so a lot of it is just making sure that we're using the right trust signals, that we're getting in front of the right audiences, that we are nurturing our workflow and our contact leads, that we're nurturing that in a very systematic way, so that we can really understand like their level of intent and their level of commitment to what they want to do. So
Mhm. And so, how unique are your projects? Because I'm also thinking because what you guys do is so specialized, but also so Swiss Army knife
yeah, it is
esque,
like a Swiss Army
is
knife.
is that you might not have any two projects that look the same. So someone comes in with I need help with this thing, and you don't have we've done one of those before to show them, even if you didn't have all these NDAs and stuff in place. So, um, and in some ways, the variety of work is compelling and like, oh, okay, so even if this changes or something else, like, that can instill confidence in what you guys are doing. But do you have any two projects that are even performing the same function or
It happens occasionally, but it is
okay.
fairly, sometimes it might be a logistics program and a logistics software that someone needs. And because there will be overlaps there, or
Hmm.
something in construction technology or in fintech, financial technology. So we do have some customers who are from a similar vertical, but it'll still be a slightly different project. And I think what we usually have to do is just show them that we have the talent and the expertise to come up with a solution for their problems. And so far, since I've been at the company, it's rare that we don't have the expertise or the knowledge to create something that someone needs.
Can you think of any projects for clients who aren't under NDA that you get excited to talk to people about as examples?
Some of the, I mean, the company was founded by some musicians. They worked in electronic music back in the day. So, and we have a lot of musicians within the company. And we were also one of actually, for MIDI 2.0, when they created the update, we were the only software company that was involved in that. Most of the other companies that were involved had software, but also a product. So we had nothing to sell. We were just contributing to the software for MIDI 2.0. So we do a lot of technology that goes into MIDI. We also do stuff like make pedals for guitars. Like Strymon is one of the clients that's excited to share the fact that we work with them. And so, like when they are creating a new pedal, we're often involved, and sometimes they get some really glowing review. Actually, they almost always get really glowing reviews. Like people love them. So that's something that we talk about. And then some of the other stuff we do, like we do some work for um, a theater group that tries to increase access, and so they do some funding. Like there's a funding group, and they are one of the case studies on our website. Actually, some of the case studies that you can find on our website are from companies that have agreed to let us tell the story about what we created for them. But it's just like a handful.
Yeah. Um, okay. So you talked about the biggest challenges and shared some examples. What's working for you to find the right fit clients right now?
What's working? That's a tough one. Right now, it's like, I mean, the market has just changed so quickly. It's
Hmm.
it's been really rapid. And so for many years, Google Ads was just like always working for us. And now I'd say that's diminished significantly. Um, we're we use newsletters, email campaigns, social media. I would say that the newsletters and email campaigns probably work most effectively.
All right. What is your outlook overall for art and logic? So you talked about the market is tough right now. Things that had been working really well for you, not so much. A lot of that probably harkens back to what we were talking about earlier in the episode with AI buzz sort of getting in the way and and even AI implementation and advertising, making it harder to differentiate yourself among competitors and things like that. Overall, what are you excited about for art and logic?
I actually think we're in a really good position right now.
Okay.
Partly because of the swing in the pendulum that you were talking about. So as
Hmm.
that pendulum starts to swing back, more and more companies and clients and people who are interested in creating software will be attuned to the shortcomings of AI. And with that, hopefully attuned to the benefits of working with human beings and having their projects not just overseen by human beings, but actually driven by human beings.
Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and wrap there. So, listeners, if you want to learn more about Carlos and Art and Logic, details will be in the show notes. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me today on Data Planet.
My pleasure. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.